Hi, folks. This is Terry, your Amazon private label coach. And tonight I just want to welcome you to this edition of Sell Your Own Products on Amazon for Income and Lifestyle, with the emphasis on lifestyle. You know, that's what we always talk about is the lifestyle, because if you're working a job, that's not fun. You know, you need a lifestyle where you can sit back and relax and still make money and don't have to be snowed under all the time. So with that being said, tonight we have a very special guest. We have Don Schaefer on the program tonight. You know, Don's been with us before. He's an up-and-coming private label seller. He's got multiple products in there and doing good. And so we've got Don's going to join us. And what we're going to talk about tonight is we're going to talk about summertime. Is summertime really, is the living easy, or do we need something else? You know, and that something else is we got to start thinking about Q4. Q4 is, I won't say it's right around the corner, but when you're talking private label products, it could be as much as 2-3 months out. Then it is right around the corner. So without much ado, we're going to go to that. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation tonight because I talked to that. If you can see behind me, you can see. I think I've told you that we're moving, and so my room is completely tore up. My place where I would bag and source and all that is gone down. I've got boxes all over the floor, standing in the corner. I've got a pot out in my driveway, and we're having a moving sale Saturday, and my wife's in there packing stuff out of the hutch right now. So what can I tell you? We're just kind of we're just going to go with the flow tonight and see where it takes us. So Don, you want to say hi to everyone?
Yes. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good. Doing good. I'll tell you what, I will sure be glad when this next week or so is over with, you know. Well, I think I told you we found a couple houses we liked, put offers in, and got turned down, or not turned down, but because of different things they got rejected. And so and one of the main things was we wanted to buy it, but we wanted to buy contingent on selling our house. Well,
Right.
most of them didn't want to do that. So we decided that we're going to go ahead and sell ours. We're selling it next week, and that way I'm going to have cash. When we put an offer in another house, we'll just tell them cash, and as long as they want, because I rented a place for 3-4 months. I can actually be there up until October. It's a kind of a summertime seasonal rental, whatever you want to call it. So down here in Florida, there's a lot of that. Most people come down here in the wintertime and they put their places up for sale, and if they can get, I mean, not sale, but for rent, and if they can get a little bit of rent to pay their up costs in that way, those works good. So you can come down here in the summertime and get some pretty good deals for rentals in the summertime. Yeah. And that's what I did since I'm summertime. So we rented this place. Like I say, we can stay there till October, and hopefully by then we will have a place picked out. And what can I tell you? You know, but like I say, what we want to talk about tonight is summertime. You know, it's fast. Next week is Memorial Day, or I guess it's actually 3-4 days from now. It's Monday. It's Memorial Day, which is the official start of summer, we're going to call it. And so, you know, they say the old saying, summertime and the living's easy, but when you're doing private label, is it? I don't know. What do you think, Don?
Well, the fact that I just now got into private label, I'm not even sure, but
well, even with doing the regular retail arbitrage in that.
But retail arbitrage, it might be. This is a good time because there's a lot of things going on. Matter of fact, Bonnie is just now bundling, so we can send in some bundles for 4th of July. And
okay.
Before you know it, you know as well as I do, when you get something, by the time you get it into the warehouse and everything, you're talking at least 2 weeks.
Right.
Before it's up. So as soon as that gets in, then you got to start looking at back to school.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's for darn sure. You know, those summer things, you get, you know, Labor Day and that. I know last year I sold a bunch of, I was doing wholesale last year, you know, well, 2 years ago. I was doing a lot of wholesale on that rather than the retail. I mean the private label. I was still doing the private label, but I didn't expand it all because I think I've told you before, I wanted to learn the retail arbitrage. I wanted to learn wholesale. I wanted to learn some of the other things. So before I started this course, I knew exactly what I was talking about, and I could compare it. So we did that, and I did a lot of wholesale back then. As a matter of fact, different products I was looking through, and I just went through my sales today, and I just wanted to see what some of them are. And one product I had back then was well, I don't know if some of you know it, but I sell a lot of bamboo products online. And one of those bamboo products is a heavy one, and I think I've mentioned before quite a few times that weight doesn't scare me. It still doesn't scare me, but the problem with UPS and that going up in their prices, it's not only UPS, it's FedEx, it's all of them going to dimensional weight and everything like that. It gets kind of I was getting my margins down to 20-25%, and that's just not acceptable as far as I'm concerned, right? I sold a lot of products, and I'll tell you about this one. It was a set of bamboo bar stools. It retailed for right at $200. I think I started out, I retailed it at $199, something like that, and then I boosted it up to $219 towards the end of the summer and that. But with that being said, I sold a bunch of products. I sold almost 100 units of that at $200 a pop. But like I say, the margin wasn't here, and that's one of my biggest complaints with wholesale, and some of it because there were other people on there that were, because it was a wholesale product, were selling the same product, but the problem, what they were doing is they were selling it from the warehouse. And so I had done my and sent it in FBA, so I was in there. So, but to get the buy box and everything, I had to keep it. You follow what I'm saying? I had to keep it the same price as everybody else. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the buy box.
Yeah.
So here I am, and I'm paying Amazon that. Well, when you send the FBA, Amazon charges you freight for it. When you call it, and they were charging something like $45 a unit off that 200, to ship it out. That was my shipping fee and all that. So when it came right down to it, I was, like I say, I was only making maybe 25%, and it just didn't think. But that being said, like I said, I sold almost 100 of them. I sold 97, I believe, something like that in the 3 months. But I looked and because that's a summer special, and that's what we're kind of talking about tonight, because the regular products, one of my best-selling products that sells really good in the wintertime, what I call the not summertime, and in the summertime, man, it went down to almost nothing. Where usually I'd be selling maybe 60 some a month, something like that. I went down to 4 or 5 on a couple months and everything, and so that's just the way it goes. And that's what summertime is. If you want to keep your sales up there in the summertime, you're going to have to start looking for other products that aren't, I guess I want to say seasonal, summer seasonal, like sports equipment, stuff like that. That's like these bar stools. That's what I call seasonal. It's and I call them sporty because it's the same way with I sell a lot of pool supplies in the summertime too. They're all good markets, but once that Labor Day comes, or actually before that, when actually the pool supplies and that, once you turn that corner in August and you start, well, not August, but July, and then you go into August, man, those sales just tank. So does that line up with anything you've got done?
No, but that, the first year is the toughest because you don't know what to sell,
right. Yeah,
how quick to do the holidays. So what we did after our first year, actually, I have it right in front of me. We have a whole list. We have every month, January, February, March, all the way through to December. And under each month, we put what we should start looking for. We also have under each month what sold the best last year for each month. So we know what exactly to look for back to school, for the 4th of July. So we keep busy doing that. And even though it might slow down a little in the summer, go hit some retail arbitrage and get some stuff sent in. Just keep loading that boxes out the door, and you'll be fine. It's a
Right.
good learning experience.
Yeah, it is, and like you say, once you've got a couple of years in there where you know what's going to sell, what's not, you can kind of judge, and
Yeah,
it's a heck of a lot easier, you know.
yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Because I think I've also said, you know, I used to sell a lot of cookies, and the cookies are another thing that well here there. Let me see, cookies right here. Yeah, where usually I'd sell maybe 40 to 50 units of six-pack cookies in a month,
Yeah,
something like that. In June, July, and August, I was down to 9. Well, that one month I did sell 13, but you know they go way down too. So as a general thing, things that are selling hot uh, during the regular part of the year, when you get into June, July, and August, that's a different situation. And so, like Don says, if you can go out and get yourself something to compensate that, or you can, like we said in the thing, you can take it easy in the summertime. Do that living and easy. Put your feet up and you know, just take it easy for a while and spend the spend some of the money you make in Q4 if you want to do that. But you know, it's all up to you. But there is definitely a difference.
yeah, definitely is. I just don't. Now, last year, I didn't realize that it was going to slow down like in the summer because we were doing good. But this year, I will guarantee you we'll be a lot busier than we were last year because now we have the experience on what to get and what not to get. I don't even think we sent anything in for 4th of July last year because I wasn't sure what to even buy for 4th of July. And I don't think we sent anything for Halloween. We sent very little bit for school. And of course, we're in other Facebook groups, and some people were killing it. It's like, oh, we missed that boat, but let's write it down here so we don't miss it next year.
Yeah.
Everything is a learning experience. As long as you learn something from it, it's okay.
Yeah, I know last year I did do a lot on 4th of July. I sold packages of plates and cups and
Yeah,
napkins and all that kind of stuff with and you know those buntings that you put on like a railing on like your
yeah,
porch, you know, that
yeah,
I sold a bunch of those. I sold a bunch of those Chinese lanterns where you put a candle in it and it
yeah,
goes up and all that. You know, that was all neat 4th of July stuff that they had out there, and I enjoyed that. You know, so
yeah, yeah. So that, and then as soon as that's over with, then you really got to. From what I saw last year, that back to school, you can crush it on back to school products.
yeah,
And don't forget, if whatever holiday there is, you got to start looking a month and a half to 2 months before that holiday and start
right.
getting this stuff going.
Yeah, because if you wait to the last minute, a lot of the suppliers are sold out because they
Yeah,
order theirs way ahead of time, and
yeah,
once they're gone, they're gone. They don't order anything until the next year and that. So
exactly, exactly.
yeah. So, but like you say, if you can lay out and get yourself a list and stuff like that, and get it set up for like 3 months ahead of time when you need to start working on that, and that's the reason I said that the living's easier, is it? Because summertime is a great time to start researching some of that stuff. Maybe if the supplier you had is not quite has a product that you don't quite like or something like that, or you had complaints against it. So that's the time to start looking at other suppliers and that.
And don't forget, August isn't too early to start looking for toys for Q4.
Oh no, that was going to be my next thing,
Oh,
So yes, definitely. As a matter of fact, I've got a story to tell you, and this one was 2 years ago. I finished Q4. Q4 was great. Had a great Q4, and so come January, I'm sitting there with a bunch of cash and didn't have anything that I need to send in or something like that. So I'm thinking, well, I've heard a lot about the wholesale, but the Bullers, Major Associates, and all that, they come out with. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they have a list, and they bulk buy a lot of products, and then
Yeah.
they sell it in what do you call it, lots. And so I'm thinking, well, it was right after Q4, and toys were really hot, and they were doing good, and they had this a special on a really a good game. It was a kids game, but it was the junior edition of a really popular game, and it was selling great. And I'm thinking, well, I got the cash. Why don't I put it in and just see what it did? Well, what happened? I did. I put it in. I think I bought 300. My lot was like 370, and there was sold. I think there was sold 6 or 7 lots, something like that. Well, the problem. What happened now? Listen to this. I didn't think this through, and so I did, and Major and Associates sent the Bullers sent the product in, did a beautiful job. Everything was great. I paid them, and the product just kind of sat there. And I don't mean it was. I think if I sold, I don't think I averaged selling one a month.
Oh my God!
because like I say, we all 6 of those that did it were Amazon sellers. We put it in. We all put it at the same price, so we all shared the buy box. And so, like I say, but I learned my lesson right there. Toys, I mean, especially games and that, do not sell that way during the the off season, especially like April, March, or something like that. I might have sold maybe. Well, let me see if I got it here. Well, some months I sold 2. Some months, 1 month I sold, and 1 month I even got up to 4 I sold.
Oh,
and
wow.
So those are those 350 units, and they're sitting there.
Wow.
And so come November, they started selling. And what happened? Well, I need to explain that. Since nobody was selling anything or anything like that, they started dropping the price.
Yeah.
So I dropped my price to go along with it, and I think we were down to just right at cost on the darn thing.
Wow.
We were selling them for, and then what happened was Q4 kicked in, and Q4, when they say Q4, it really should be December.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, anything before
Black Friday
is just frosting on the cake, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Before, it doesn't really start until Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
But anyway, so they started selling, and I ended up selling over 200 of the darn things during Q4. But I was selling them at cost because we'd all put it in, and nobody wanted to go back out for fear that everybody else wouldn't, and you wouldn't get a chance to sell yours. So we did. I sold 200, but then comes the Amazon's inventory in February. Where they charge you the inventory fee, the storage fee, long-term storage fee, and because that was over a year, I got caught with the long-term storage fee. So I ended up having, I think it was almost like 100 of them shipped back to me.
Oh wow!
And then so I had to pay that extra cost, and then I sent them back in, and they're still in there, and they're selling good. But and a lot of the other ones didn't send them back in, so I don't know how they got rid of hers. They probably went to a jobber and got rid of them or something like that. But I thought, well, shoot, I've got it. I might just well send it back in. So I did, and I've got the price up there a little bit now, so I make a little bit of money. But they're selling, and there's enough in there that I'll have them for Q4 this year probably. But hopefully they'll sell out. What can I tell you? That's one of those. That's one of those. What I call it. That's what this business is all about, folks. That's a learning lesson, and I hope you get that. So especially those games that we want to call it, do not sell very well the rest of the year. But Q4, they're hot and they're going to fly off the shelf. So just bear that in mind. Don't know what else to tell you.
You made a good point, Terry, because we were so disappointed on our first Q4 because everybody's saying Q4 they'll fly off the shelf. You can't buy enough stuff. Even Amazon runs out, and boy, we were all ready for Q4 until we found out it's not really Q4. It's after Black Friday. That's when the sales start going. But we were so
Definitely.
disappointed. We thought we were doing something wrong. We're probably buying the wrong products, and it wasn't. It was everybody it says Q4, and it's not. It's not till after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, right. No, I absolutely agree with you. And they all say that, and you know, like you say, they were. I was always told too that when you do your inventory, that November you two times your regular, and December you three times.
Yeah.
Well, December is wrong. December you can probably do four times your regular
Yeah.
sales.
Yeah.
But November, you know, I don't think you're going to do much more because you don't really start until that last week, so
Exactly.
you don't get it in. And like you say, it's kind of a misnomer that Q4. It's really it's Thanksgiving on, you know.
And I bring that up because we were really, really discouraged last year. It's like, what the heck? I don't see anything. As a matter of fact, I think we're slower now than we were before it came.
Yeah.
But then after Thanksgiving, you know, it just hit the fan.
Yeah. But I don't know. Talking to some other people, because that was my second one, and I don't know. I think it was a funny year last year. I don't know whether it was because the number of days between Christmas and New Year's or what it was, but it was just a bad one. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. It was. But we still did good. I mean, we were, as bad as it was, we were looking to do 25,000, but that was thinking of Q4. I think we ended up, just for the month of December, I think we did 15 or 18,000. So we were happy.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Nothing wrong with that. You know.
Yeah, that's gross sales. We probably did about, I'd say maybe 30%.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
like to see that get bumped up to like 40%.
Oh yeah. Well, now with private label, now you can do it.
Yes, you can. And man, some of the I can't mention the product here, but some of the guys out there in the course, I'm telling you, I've been working with them on their products and that. And this one guy has got a summertime product that's he's running almost 55%. And man, it is number 7 in its category. And would you believe it? It only has, I think, something like 14 reviews.
Oh, brother.
I've never seen anything like it. He should be making a killing if he can get it in, because, like I say, it's strictly a summertime product now.
That's fine.
You're gonna sell some through the year for birthday parties and stuff like that, but it's a summertime product, and man, that should be flying off the roof. I hope he's got enough in there, getting enough in there, because he's just now having it made, so he's probably not going to get it in there because it comes from China. So no, India, I believe.
Right.
It's probably going to take him, probably a month to get it in there. So, and then that gets you right in the middle of June. So, better get it on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid of, well, not for my first product. The first product, I don't think I would look at something seasonal. But now I look at something seasonal, because if it was a really good buy, and like you're talking about those kind of credentials, I wouldn't have a problem bringing it in, knowing that it's going to be seasonal.
Yeah, it's no big thing. You just you bulk it up, and really send your inventory in for June, and then gonna let it slide, and then keep a few in there the rest of the year. But just to keep it active in that, you don't even have to keep it active if you don't want. But
right,
I would keep it in there, because you're gonna sell a thing like that. It's like those games I was telling you about. You'll sell maybe 7, 8, maybe 10 a month, something like that, just because of birthday parties and stuff like that. But you're not going to do it. But in Q4, it's going to fly off the shelf, And this is here in the summertime when we're talking about it, it'll fly off, He won't be able to keep it in, especially if he's like number 7 in his category. I mean, this is toys and games, and number 7. Can you imagine?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's when you're doing 40 or 50 units a day.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I forgot the exact number. I didn't write it down. The Jungle Scout said, but it was astronomical. I mean, it was just like it was great. What can I say? Yeah.
You know what? That's the importance of research.
Definitely.
Don't think you can't go with the mindset that so many people are coming into private label and it's going to get saturated and there's not going to be any products. That's baloney. There's hundreds of thousands of products out there, And just what Terry's talking about, trust me, that's not the only product that has got those credentials. There's hundreds more out there. You just have to be patient. If you give yourself at least 4 hours to do some really good research, get yourself a cup of coffee, turn off your phones, I will guarantee you in 4 hours you'll find a couple of good ones.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially if you use a tool like Jungle Scout. I bet that. And I don't know if you noticed, have you heard? They improved Jungle Scout.
Yeah, they went up in price too.
Yeah, they did. But did you get you got the notice about the upgrade, right?
About the what?
About the upgrade?
Yeah, I don't know what it was because I don't have Jungle Scout. I have that Amuse Suite, whatever it is.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you did, but yeah, Jungle Scout. They went to version 3 now, and I'm really impressed because some of the numbers on version 2 were, especially when they were talking about the sales volume and the number of units sold and something like that, were a little bit questionable. But I think with version 3, it is right on. And
really,
yeah.
I mean, even at the price that they have it now, it's well worth it. I'll have to take a look at it again, or keep me informed. And if you really think, because that's a good part of it, that alone is worth it.
Oh yeah, because I use it every day, especially when a lot of the people in the course in that I do a private Google Hangouts, just them and me, and I get up there and we look at the products and I turn Jungle Scout on and I'm just really impressed. It just saves me constant hours because sometimes it's one of the students say, Terry, what do you think of this? And before Jungle Scout, I'd have to go research it and go over to different places and that. And man, with Jungle Scout, I just push the button and what can I tell you? It's there, and it makes life simpler for me, and I know it makes a lot simpler for a lot of the students too. So
no, it's a great time saver, and it almost makes it fun instead of that tedious going back and forth. Definitely.
Yeah. But anyway, so back to this. I'll be honest with you. Like I say, when you talked about doing your due diligence, because this guy really did it, and he lives over in where oh man, I think it's India, someplace like that. He's a teacher at a American school over in a foreign country, and that's where he's doing all this from.
Okay.
And not that it makes any difference, but because that's the neat thing about private label, you can do it from anywhere because you're going to have the product sent from the supplier right into Amazon, and so you can do that from anywhere. Even if you were living on the moon, I suppose you could do it. You could just I don't know how if the internet works on the moon, but if I ever get up there, I'll let you know. But what I'm trying to say is some of these guys are really doing it and really getting into it, and I'll be honest with you, I about fell over when I saw the statistics on this one for that I was just talking about. It like I say, it should fly off the shelf.
Yeah.
And that's just from doing their due diligence and looking at things. Oh, and I forgot, you guys, over here it's on the right of my screen, I presume it is the question and answer thing. So if you've got a question for myself or Don, or the both of us, anything like that, for guys' sakes, put your question in there. We'll be glad to answer it. That's what we're here for tonight. This is just kind of we're talking about summertime. We're talking about Q4. We're talking about anything you'd like to talk about, really, when it calls to private label or Amazon, period, because Don's like me. He's not only getting to be a private label expert, but he's also done retail arbitrage, did some wholesale, and we're here to help you. So go ahead and put your questions up there, and we will try our best to answer them. If I can't answer them, I will get back to you, and I promise you that. So what can I say? So what else, Don?
You know what? There's a couple of things. Sometimes people get scared because they think they need thousands of dollars to get started in private label. I mean, it helps. The more money you have, it helps in retail arbitrage. The more money you have, of course, the more you can do. But all 3 of my products to get to my house from Alibaba, the most expensive one for 200 items was $1,300, and the other 2 were both less than $1,000.
Wow.
So the one that we got in, that was 200 of them. That I think ran me 960. So don't think you need a fortune. What you need to do, and of course I had to research a little more because I had to find suppliers that would have a lower minimum quantity.
Right.
And just because it says on a website minimum quantity, 10,000, don't go by that. And everything is negotiable.
Right. Right.
And what I usually say to them is like, first, I don't even negotiate until I get a sample, because that's, from what I heard, that's kind of rude.
Yeah.
So I get my sample. I make sure, first of all, that I even want to order them. And once I do, I send them a letter saying, and I never send it as me. I said, I had the boss look it over. He's very impressed with your quality, but we would like to do a test run of how many units you're talking about. And if our customers like it, then we would put in a much bigger order next time. That's basically what my email says.
Right.
I've never had a problem. Never.
Yeah. No, I haven't either. I basically do pretty much around the same thing. So,
Yeah.
You've got to talk them. I keep saying the quickest way to get exactly what you want is to ask for it. If you don't ask for it and you're a little shy or something like that, you're going to lose out, because these suppliers, believe it or not, they want to sell to you probably more than you want to buy from them. That's how they make their money. That's how they make their livelihood. And if they don't have sales, they're not going to come out. I don't care if they're a big company or that. They still have to make that margin, and that's how their CEOs and everything else make their money, is because they've got quotas, and if they don't make the quotas, they get down the tube. That's just what it's all about. So it's kind of I wouldn't call it a vicious circle, but it's like Don pointed out, the quickest way to get exactly what you want is to ask for it and negotiate. That's what it's all about, folks. That's what it's all about.
And don't forget, just like Terry was alluding to, if you don't ask, you already got to know. So go ahead and ask.
Right. Yeah. What's the worst thing they can say is no. Then, if you can't work it out, then you go on to something else.
Exactly. Find another manufacturer.
Yeah. And there's always there's other manufacturers out there. Which brings me up. We were talking about it. I got this letter today from not today, but it was an email from the Bullards, the major buy list. And we talked right before we came on. Don and I were talking, and he got one too. And I don't know if you know it. That's the Bullard. That's the one I bought the games from, and that was not their fault. That was my fault on that one there. But they've come out with a new service, which I thought I'd tell you about. It's if you want to do private label, and you want to do it with not having to do anything, they've got a service where you give them an idea of what you want. They will go and they will find a couple products. They will find talk to the sources over in China or wherever like that, and get it. They will actually even design a package for you, and they will send it into Amazon. So basically, you don't have to do anything. What can I say? I have thought about that, because I don't know if you've noticed, Don, but the trend in all this stuff is going more and more to people having things done for them.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
And so that's kind of where we're heading, where you sit there and you say that I want to put a couple products on Amazon. You call something like the Bullard and give them some idea of what you want. They will source it. They will work out the deal, and what can I tell you? They'll send it in. If you're not going to make as much money that way, but you're I guess what I want to say is, like I say, you're not going to make as much money that way, but you're not going to have to do that much either, except kind of, okay, the product, you're still responsible for it. They're not going to guarantee that your product's going to fly off the shelf once it gets there, but you've got to make those decisions. But like I say, they'll place your order, they'll have it shipped, and everything else. It's actually I didn't go in and check what the prices were, don't have the slightest idea. and I just thought it was kind of neat because I've long realized that that's the way we're becoming as a society. Is we want things done for us. We want it's that part of that instant gratification, or what can I tell you? It's there. We want it done, and we want it done now, and we want it done for us. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. It's the first there's probably maybe other companies out there that do it. I don't know. But this, like I say, I do have an account with the Bullards. I've used those. Well, I told you about that one I bought from them, but used them other times than that when I had to. So they're a good company, and John and his wife and son, and they just do a good job.
Yeah, they do. Actually, I have a couple of people that they don't go that far, but they'll find your product, they'll research it, make sure there's no patents on it, they'll find a supplier for you, they'll give you the price and the competition and everything for a fee. And that's all well and good. But just like retail, just like you did private label, but you wanted to do retail arbitrage, at least know what the process is.
Right.
So I still say for your first PL, you really should do it yourself. After you get that in and you get through the process, if you want to go to something automatic, God bless you. I might go something like that after my 3 get up and running, but I needed for myself to go through the process so I knew how to do it.
Oh, I definitely agree with you. That's the best way to learn, and you've got to do it. You've got to know what you're doing, even if you turn it over to the Bullards or somebody else to do it for you. How can you run a business if you don't know what you're doing? You have to know what you're doing, and that's just common sense, And like I say, that's the reason I did wholesale and I did retail arbitrage, and that retail arbitrage, that is a lot of work. I'm not sure how you stack it. Wholesale is not so bad, but retail arbitrage is, oh man, I would go out in the morning with my little scan gun, which I still got over here, by guys, and I haven't used it for a long time, like Comtac 2000 or whatever it is, and I'd go out and shoot and then load those carts up, bring them back in the afternoon, and spend all afternoon bagging and labeling, and Don, that's just a lot of work. I don't know how else to describe it.
A lot of work, and then when you get the boxes, then you got to hump the boxes, and it's a lot of work, but it was satisfying to me because you did all that, you send it in, you made some sales, you felt good about it. After the first 4 or 5 months, then you were tired of it. Then you went to wholesale.
Right, yeah. And basically it is too, and it takes you almost 3 to 4 months to know how you're coming out in your margin. And
absolutely.
With that retail arbitrage, so many of those the things you're going to get in there's so many new people come in, and they've got like these repricers and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And man, they'll take you right down to the bottom, and you're not making anything. So I think in all that I did, I didn't make a lot of profit on that. I learned my lesson. I learned it's hard work, and I learned that I don't want to do it anymore. I absolutely have to. Let's put it that way.
I agree with you. I kind of look forward to it for Christmas because I love hitting the stores and getting the toys and all that that I enjoy. But
yeah,
as a regular all year long thing, no, thank you.
Yeah, well, hey, talk about that regular long thing. The thing of it is, on that retail arbitrage, if you get, like I talked before about cookies, I sold a lot of cookies. Well, so I was #1 on Amazon for selling certain types of these cookies. Well, the problem is, as long as the companies, in this case it was Keebler, kept running promotions in that, but there, right around Christmas time in that, I think it was actually about September of last year, they quit running promotions. All the rest of the year they ran promotions. You buy one, you get one. They jacked the price up a little tiny bit, but you buy 2 for the price of 1, which was really good, and I was making a good markup on that. But then all of a sudden, like I say, they cut off and there was no promotions around for 3-4 months, and so I just couldn't, because if I had to pay full price on the retail arbitrage to keep my listing going and all that, I just wasn't making any money. So they definitely got a lot of drawbacks to retail arbitrage. Like you say, though, Christmas time and going out and sourcing toys, that's fun. And my grandkids liked it too, because sometimes you'd bundle them, you get an odd, and they'd all come in and see what I had this week. That's the first thing when they come over to the house, they'd have to run in and go over to my bench where I bundle and bag and all that, and they'd have to see what I'd gotten right around Christmas time. So they came out like bandits because I'd always have to, Grandpa would always have to give them something, that I
Yeah.
had. So yeah, but it was fun. It
Yeah.
was fun, and like I say, I learned I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I like it because I know whatever I'm buying is flying off the shelf. So that's what made
Yeah,
it fun.
yeah, it did. But it's been what's it been? It's been 9 months since I quit doing that. And I still got products in there yet. I was going through my inventory the other day, and some of them just the retail arbitrage. You thought you were doing good, and the products in it, and they just have not sold. So what can I tell you? I don't have a lot in there, but I still have some, and I'm surprised after 9 months I still got some. So what can I tell you? Amazon still sends me the check, and as
Yeah.
long as we get rid of them before the year's up, I'll be all right.
I'll tell you, come last December, come January 1st, I mean, we to make that much money, we sent thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff in. Come January 1st, our inventory was less than $300 in there.
Oh wow, that
I mean,
that
it is like bare bones.
that is neat. That is really good. Wow, $300,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, which I could say, like I say, I still got stuff in there after 9 months. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, we had a lot of inventory in there, but it was selling, so I've got no complaint. Certain people that I know, that's what they do. They go out, they still do retail arbitrage, but they only buy the stuff when they're making we're paying where they can make 4 to 5 times their money on it, and they just buy that stuff and send it in, and they don't care whether it sells now or a year from now,
Yeah.
because they know they're going to make their money, and they just keep sending in. And that's okay, but it's sure not steady. Is that the word I want to use? I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a great business model. I mean, I want to get stuff in and get it back and get that money to work for me over and over. I don't want it sitting there 6, 8 months doing nothing.
Right. Yeah. Even though, like I said, you can make 3, 4 times your money and all that on it, but when you got to wait all those months and that. But I guess if that's all you're doing, so I don't know.
Yeah, but just think, if you're waiting 3 to 4 months to make that money back, how much more money could you have made if you flipped something quicker 3 or 4 times?
Right. Yeah. 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 But back then that was when oh man, it's when there was well, you were on some of the same forums I was. There were some guys like the one that lives here in Florida, Ferdinand Beach, and all that. He was
Yeah.
man sending all kind of stuff in there,
Goodness.
but man, they weren't making any money.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. But a lot of people got excited and got turned on, and they were going to do this,
Yeah.
and they were doing it,
Yeah.
and they're still that. But if you look at the forums, they're not here anymore. They're gone. You and myself and I could probably count on my both hands maybe the number of people that are still around, still doing Amazon and that. Well, I shouldn't say that because I don't know. Maybe they are doing Amazon. Maybe they just got off the forums and didn't do anything, but they're sure not active anywhere.
But you know what? It's one of those things that people like really build it up and people get in and they think it's going to be easy. And once they find out that you really got to run this as a business and it's a lot of work, I could see people giving up on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It like I say, it's retail arbitrages. It is a lot of work. Wholesale is not so bad because, and especially if you're doing groceries, by the time you got to double label them, and now they're even coming out. I think we went last time we were on together, something like that. I read that new Amazon thing on sometimes they're going to go to a third label on groceries on some of them. So and that is a lot of work because you got to sort through them. Unless you're buying wholesale. If you're buying wholesale, it's probably not too bad. You can just whip them out because it'll take the same label. But if you're doing retail arbitrage with groceries and that, why, and to do 3 labels, it was bad enough with 2 labels. Now to go to 3 labels, why, that's just work, drudgery.
Yeah, and we did a lot of groceries, so I know exactly what you mean. Bonnie'd be there all day processing $600-700 worth of stuff all day
Oh,
should be
yeah. And
processing.
then you get them here and you try to keep the code dates. I put in a stack here, and then well, this is the day off, and so
Yep.
that labels had to be right. And
Yep.
you know, what can I say? It was fun when it first started, but boy, towards the end, it was. I say, glad I'm done with it.
Both.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't know. So anyway, I don't see nobody's asking questions out there. We got quite a few viewers out there tonight, and I guess everybody must be bashful about that, or they're just sitting here and listening to us talk, and we're just having a good time. And Don's a good friend, and we've kind of been through a lot of things together, a lot of classes, a lot of forums and stuff like that. So we're just talking. So, but we'd love to answer any questions you got for us. You know, so just it's right up here in the thing. You can submit your questions right up. I presume someday I've got to look, Don, or tell me, is it on the right of the screen?
I don't even have it on mine.
It's what?
I don't even. Oh, it's on your right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Okay.
here's the thing. If you want to make $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, if that sounds good, ask the questions. Isn't your questions worth $10,000 to $20,000 a month to make? Don't be bashful. If you ask a question, I guarantee you there's a half a dozen other people that are looking for that same answer. Don't be bashful. I put it out there. I'll ask the stupidest question I can think of. If it's going to help me, I'm asking it.
Yeah, and like I say, man, there's no such thing as a stupid question if you're asking about the business and everything like that, because man, we all start somewhere. What can I tell you? The first day I started, I didn't know anything, you know, and same as Don and everybody else. You got to ask. The quickest way to get exactly what you want is to ask for it. You know, ask the questions and find out, because that's what we're here for. You know, I want to see you succeed. That's what. That's why I chose doing this, the Amazon private label coach, because I want to see you succeed. And just like I told you, there's a couple guys in the courses. That one over there that's in India, you know, he's doing great. He found some great things, and but he got there by asking. You know, he emails me a couple times a week, maybe, and always with a question, and I answered. So that's what it's all about, asking questions.
You know, that's the quickest way to success in private label is ask the questions.
Yeah.
This is the free part of it. This is what comes along with your course. You got two people here that are doing private label that have gone through the process a number of times, so we know what problems you're going to run into or what problems you might not run into. But here's this is where you ask and get some of those questions answered, so you don't have to run into those problems. We've probably already ran into it, so.
Yes. I'll tell you what, when it comes to making mistakes, I think I hold the record here.
I don't think so, Terry. We're going to be a close match on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I've made my share of them, but that's what it's all about. That's the way, you know, when you first. Well, I think I've shared this. I have always been in business for myself all my life and everything, and I started a business within 2 weeks of graduating from high school. Borrowed $300 and went into the drive-in restaurant business of all things. And I didn't know anything,
right?
But I learned, and I made it through the first year, second year, and you know, I ended up spending about 12 years, something like that, and sold the business and moved on. But what can I tell you? That's the way you learn. Same way when I started this Amazon thing. I didn't know anything about it, so I signed up for a course, took it, and learned, and made a lot of mistakes because I was trying to do it my way instead of doing it their way. I was thinking, well, if I do this, it'll work out better. And then I found out it doesn't. You know, you're better off to work the system. Whatever you do, and that's what I've tried this a couple times here. We've been talking about it now. But if you're new, the best advice I can give you is find a coach that you like and you can work with, and follow him until you get successful.
Yeah.
And don't listen to anybody else. And then after you get successful, then it's okay to listen to everybody else. But what you're going to do, if you start now and you've got a coach, and then you listen to him, but then you go visit this guy or visit another forum or something like that, and they're talking about this, and so you start doing that. That's a side thing, and it's going to get you confused. It's going to get you, most time it's going to cause you to lose money, I'll tell you that, because everything I teach is made for my system. Anybody, another one, well, Andy Slamans or somebody like that, anything Andy teaches is made for his system, and it'll work for his system, but it's not going to work for mine, you know. But like I say, when you get up there and you get successful, then you start experimenting with some of the other things if you want to and create your own system. But don't do it till you get successful. Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me. And you can't be sitting back waiting for the perfect time, because you'll be sitting back here for another year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know a whole lot of people that are successful that haven't made mistakes. Making mistakes is your stepping stone to success.
You better believe it. You better believe it.
You show me somebody that's never made a mistake, I'll tell you that they're not trying very hard.
Yeah, you better believe it. Yeah. Yeah, that's for darn sure. And so that's, like I say, you know, just get in and do it. I think one of the biggest stumbling blocks that I see with the students I get is they get it and they do their thing, and then they get cold feet. They think, well, what if this product doesn't work out? What if this happens? What if that happens? And they get it, and so they're afraid to pull the trigger. You know, and that's not what it is. You got to pull that trigger. You know, you do your best, do your due diligence, and find that product you want. Pull the trigger and go with it. You know, because you're never going to find the perfect product. There isn't such a thing, for one thing. You know.
But you know, if you follow the course, it's just a calculated risk. That's what got me to pull the trigger on the first one, because I looked and I said, if I make a mistake here and they don't sell, at least I knew I had enough of a margin that I could sell it at break even. And I know I would sell them at break even, because I would be like $8 lower than the lowest person. Yeah. So I'd come out break even. I wouldn't lose money. And in that, I've learned a lot. So I've gained, even if I did break even.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so true, man. You know, like I say, you just do your best, pull the trigger, and go on to the next stage. Start working on your next product or whatever you've got to do. You know, start some promotions in that. But pull that trigger and get that product into Amazon. I'll tell you, one of the happiest days of my life was the time that I've got my first direct deposit from Amazon.
Yeah.
You know? And it was, I don't remember what it was anymore. I think maybe it might have been $14-15, but I was happy. You know, it was something. That's $14 more than I had, the week before, and it proved to me that it works.
That's what it was. The proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it's all about. It's get your feet wet, get in there, pull the trigger, and relax and go on. You know, because you're sitting there stewing over it. Is this the perfect product, or do I need to do this? Do I need to do that, or should I have a blue label instead of a pink label?
Forget it.
You know, I said that 2-3 weeks. Get the product ordered. Get it ordered. Get right. Everything is changeable. You know, your company name, your product name, you can always change it. It takes about what? 5 minutes at the most to change your company name. I don't think you just have to log in, go to a certain line, and change it in there. It probably only takes 2-3 minutes, you know. And the product and all that, it's all changeable. What you want to do is get going, get active, get your blood circulating. What can I tell you?
I think people are doing that like, well, I need to get a right package. I need to get a low. They're just doing that because they're still afraid to pull a trigger. It's just excuses not to go further.
Right.
Get your product in, throw it in the poly bag, zip it up nice, and send it in, at least for your first product. Then you start working on your logo, your brand, your packaging. Get that first one in.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's so right. And like I say, I really believe that's the biggest stumbling block is people just are afraid to pull the trigger. You know, they're not sure of themselves, and you'll never get anything doing it that way. It's you know, you do your best, pull the trigger, and go with it. You know, go with the flow, or I guess is the way you want it, or whatever you want. You know, but you got to pull that trigger.
Yeah, and you can always run some examples through Terry, and I'm in the forums if you want. You don't have to tell us what you're selling, but you could just tell us maybe what the competition, what the rank is, and we can give you our honest opinion on what we think you should do or shouldn't do. Not that we can't make mistakes either, but at least we can say, well, why are you doing that? Look at this and this and this. And again, if you're buying something for China and you know you can get it sent to your house and it's costing you $6 and it's selling for like $20 on Amazon, what's your problem?
Yeah,
You can
definitely.
always sell it for $6.
Yes, right. Definitely, definitely. So, what can I say? I don't know. Well, Don, I'll tell you what. It's just about an hour up there. It's
Yeah.
8:57. Nobody's got any questions, so I guess we're gonna log off here in a little bit. But if you got a question last minute, I'll be glad. Like I say, Don's here. I'm here. Either one of us be glad to answer it. If we don't know the question and the answer, we'll get back to you. But with that being said, like we talked about at the beginning, as you can see behind me, I'm all tore up. We're moving. I've sold my house, and we're going to move into a rental for 3 or 4 months so we can buy till we can buy another house, because we haven't been able to buy one that we liked, and we're I'm 72, and my wife and we're a little bit particular. We want a certain thing, and so we're willing to wait. We'll move into a rental. The rental is not.
That's the best way to do it.
More rentals, but what can I tell you? There wasn't a lot of rentals. We didn't have a lot of choice, and so for 3 or 4 months, we're not going to be living in luxury, but it's okay. It's air conditioned, and well, you'll see it here in a couple of weeks because it'll be the backdrop behind me. Which that being said is I'm moving next Thursday, so I don't even know if I'm going to be hooked up to the internet and that. I should be, but I don't, and so but I'm just not going to have a program next week, because I'm moving. But we will have it 2 weeks from tonight, which is the 28th, and I don't have the thing up there. And anyway, it'd be the first Thursday in June, and so that would be the next broadcast. And so if you got questions like that, for guys' sakes, you can you email me. It's terrychire@gmail.com, or I'm on Facebook all the time, and I'm on Google Plus. So either place you can email me. Same with Don if you want.
Definitely, I'll answer anybody's question.
Yeah, and like I say, Don has turned out to be a great friend and a good inspiration, because man, he's doing good. They've got those 3 products, he and Bonnie, and what can I tell you? They're fantastic, and I think I said the other night I have eliminated a couple of my products, so I'm going to have to do it, but I've held off because I'm moving and that, and so once I get moved in, that's going to be the first thing I'm going to start a couple more products and go for there. So with that being said, like I say, we're here to help you. I don't know what else to say. Like I said, there'll be no Google Hangout next week, because I'm moving. I'm going to be moving that day, and even if I am hooked up to the internet, I don't think I'm going to be feeling like doing a program that night. So Don, you got anything else to say before we sign off?
Have a great night.
That's what I like about Don, a man of many words, right? Okay, folks. So we enjoyed having you. Thanks for joining us tonight. And even if though you were bashful and didn't ask any questions, why, we sure appreciate you coming. And with that being said, I shall see you in about 2 weeks. So we shall see you later. But if you need me, get a hold of me, email me. I will get back to you, and we'll go from there. So like I say, so long.